love kicking a box office prediction video off this way. I went 5 for 5 last weekend. Black Panther took the top spot with $66.3 million. Then it was Red Sparrow at number 2 with $16.9 million. Death Wish came in at number 3 with $13 million. Game Night took the number 4 spot with $10.4 million. And then lastly, Peter Rabbit came in at number 5 with another $10 million. Now for my number 5 prediction for this weekend, I'm actually not going with new releases, Hurricane Heist or Gringo. Instead, I'm giving the spot to Peter Rabbit. This one has had quite the run so far. It actually hasn't dropped more than 30%, moving from one weekend to the next. And I know A Wrinkle in Time is family friendly, but I don't think it's going to make much of a dent in Peter Rabbit's earnings. So even if Peter Rabbit has its highest percent change yet, maybe 35%, it's still making another $6.5 million. And I have a feeling it's going to be enough to top Hurricane Heist, Gringo, and also Game Night. Moving on to my number 4, that is where I have Red Sparrow. So yeah, Red Sparrow did open a little bit behind Atomic Blonde, but I still think that movie can help me out here. Atomic Blonde dropped 55%, making its move from weekend 1 to 2. So I think Red Sparrow is facing at least that. But why I want to bring Red Sparrow's percent change up a little is because it's got more competition. Atomic Blonde in weekend 2 was only facing the new release, The Dark Tower, which didn't really do too well. Red Sparrow is still contending with Black Panther, and it also has A Wrinkle in Time hitting theaters this weekend. So I'm going to bring Red Sparrow's percent change up to 60%, and if that's how things pan out, it's making another $6.7 million. That brings me to my number 3 pick now, and admittedly, this is the curveball that could throw off my rankings, because this is where I have Strangers Prey at Night. So the first Strangers movie came out in 2008, and it was a bit of a surprise hit. It also was a summer release, so I think that did give it a little bit of an edge, especially on Prey at Night. So instead of using that movie to figure out what the sequel might make, I'm looking at horror releases that weren't released by big studios, and that led me back to The Bye-Bye Man, which came out in January of last year, and it opened with $13.5 million. But The Bye-Bye Man didn't have competition like The Strangers Prey at Night does, so I don't think it's going to make as much money, but I still think that Strangers has a chance at making $13 million. Now, for my number 2, this is where I have the big new release of the weekend, A Wrinkle in Time. So the reviews aren't so great for this one, but I do think that the source material, the ideas behind the film, and also the incredible ensemble in this film could draw a crowd. And really, I expected to draw a crowd that could make it at the very least the same amount of money that Tomorrowland opened with, and that would be $33 million. So that's where I'm putting A Wrinkle in Time. Now I'm moving back to Black Panther, which is still staying strong at number 1. So after comparing Black Panther to Force Awakens, Avengers, and Jurassic World for a little while, now I'm narrowing my focus to just Jurassic World and Avengers. With those two movies, their percent change actually came down, going from weekend 3 to weekend 4. Specifically, Jurassic World dropped 48.8% in weekend 3, and then it came down to 46.4% in weekend 4. Avengers is an even steeper drop, from 46% all the way down to 34.1%. I don't think the change is going to be that drastic for Black Panther, but if I take a cue from Jurassic World and maybe bring its percent change from last weekend down maybe a percent or two, let's say to 39%, that would still leave it with $40 million for the weekend. Let's recap my predictions now. I've got Black Panther at number 1 yet again with $40 million. A Wrinkle in Time coming in at number 2 with $33 million. Then The Strangers Prey at Night with $13 million, followed by Red Sparrow at number 4 with $6.7 million. And finally, Peter Rabbit wrapping up the top 5 with $6.5 million. Those are my predictions, but now, of course, I want to know yours. I think he kind of does too. It looks like he cares, right? Put those predictions in the comments section below. I'm curious to check them out. And before I close out this video, we've got a triple Patreon shout out to give out. Today's shout out goes to Scuba Steve, David Humphrey, and Neil Varma. Guys, you've heard me say this to you before, but I am saying it again because I am so deeply grateful to have you part of the Patreon team, and I'm so happy to have your continued support. It means a lot to me. Thanks to everybody watching this box office prediction video right now. I think someone needs a nap, so I'm going to tune out, and I'll see you next week to see how we all did on our box office predictions.